Oh man, it's been a while. So we're gonna wait a few minutes, see if we can get a few people to come watch. It's been a while. I haven't uploaded in quite some time. And I'm really doing this video mostly because I really wanna say thank you and to my patrons and let everybody know what's going on, where I've been, why I've been gone. Looks like we've got a couple people starting to show up, so we'll just be patient for a few minutes. In the background, you can see got a couple of Ender 3 version 2s. Man, I don't know if you can see that one's running, but it's just like super quiet. A lot of the people that watch here today, a lot of you guys that watch here today, many of you watch this channel for things like CNC machining and business, design, manufacturing, things like that. But when I first got started, this channel started with quite a bit of this type of stuff, with like hobby grade fused deposition modeling, FDM 3D printers and things like that. And so I bought both of these recently. I had ordered a Prusa. That's a brand new i3 Mark III's. Here's the instructions for it. And what happened was I've wanted to tinker for a while with some of these more exotic filaments, things like carbon infused nylon, carbon infused polycarbonate. And in order to print some of these materials, you need a printer with a hot end that's capable of printing up to those temperatures, somewhere north of 270 C, around 300 C. Generally, you need an all metal hot end. Most printers like these little Ender 3 version 2s, which are brand new, and by the way, I'm super happy with these things. They're 289 bucks a piece. 260-ish C is the upper limit. So you can do PETG or ABS, but you're pushing your luck if you're gonna try and print something like nylon. So I ordered the Prusa i3, and it just was like on intergalactic back order. And so for whatever reason, I had a bunch of points on my Discover card, which I can spend on Amazon. And so I bought one. It came with one of the connectors damaged, so I called and ordered a second one. And it arrived, and lo and behold, I liked it so much that I called one of my buddies. He had a spare JST connector, and the first Ender made such a good impression on me that I just went ahead and kept the second one and just fixed it myself. I didn't even care. And I have a couple of build plates for them right here. They have this one actually has a little bit of glue stick on it right now, as you guys can see. This is called carborundum glass. It's basically just a piece of glass that has some type of etch on it, but whatever it is, it works really well. And so throughout time on this very YouTube channel, I've had people kind of make some trite comments about some of the stuff that I'm printing, and they think that it's toys. What they don't realize is that a lot of the stuff that I print is actually for production tooling for making thousands of production parts in our business. Anyways, I've really struggled trying to find a good solution for a dual filament machine. And so I already had a bunch of Prusas. I already had one of these for one of our Prusas at work. And so I bought another one. And this is the multi-material unit. It's, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a little sophisticated, it's a little bit complicated. It can run up to 5 different filaments. There are some limitations. You obviously don't want to run one filament that needs to run at 300 C and then one that runs at 215 C. You know, you're not going to use some super high temperature exotic filament alongside some super low temperature PVA or water soluble support. So I bought it because I've been super impressed with my Prusas. I built one for a buddy of mine, and while I was waiting, I just bought one of these Enders as like an impulse buy. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fan of the Prusa printers. This is now my 4th one. But if you are in the situation where you don't need multi-filament with the use of something like an MMU, if you're not gonna be printing anything exotic, if you're just printing like PLA or PETG, these Creality Ender, there's 3 different versions. There's the basic Ender 3, which was like, it's like the one that everybody bought for 200 bucks. And then they did like an Ender 3 Pro that had like a flexible magnetic build sheet. And then this is the Ender 3 version 2. It has a pretty nice little touch screen on it, and it's super quiet. The loudest part of this thing is actually the fans themselves, and I'm just super duper impressed. I can't believe how much you get for your money. Now, a few people have asked where I've been. Long story short, it's been pretty wild. It's been wild for me personally. I've had a few health ups and downs, which I'm not going to bore you with. I'm back. I'm here. I'm healthy. We're good to go. Of course, here in the United States, the election cycle, it was just, oh man, the drama was just absolutely real. Of course, we're still in a pandemic, and I live in California, as many of you guys know. Hi, Jason. And on top of that, we had a couple of weird business situations, which I'm going to elaborate far more on in an upcoming, probably pretty lengthy Patreon video where we talk about distribution. My manufacturing business ended up getting a very kind of a large scale, for my industry, a very large scale distribution deal, and it's very much a double-edged sword, and we're going to talk. I'm going to talk at length about that with my patrons. And then we had some employees that I hired that just unfortunately didn't work out for a variety of reasons. But we just got a new employee that is blowing my mind, and I'm going to show you guys. My wife bought me this as a gift. This is a little MacBook Pro. And this is a quadruped that we've downloaded and started printing. And there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. We're still intending to do the CNC classes. That thing is still on. Where there's just a ton going on. I've actually had a couple of different CNC machine tool manufacturers reach out to me that wanted to get involved, but I'm not exactly sure. The last thing I want to do is overpromise them to deliver, both to the machine tool company and of course to the people that actually want to participate. I think the trick here is for me, it's going to be finding that balance between providing the very best experience. If people are going to pay, somebody pays. Let's not get this confused. Somebody always pays. Nothing is free, ever. Never, never, never. So somebody pays. Now, there's a front end of a business and a back end of a business. Now, if the education is free, if an education is free, it might be free to you. I've been watching some YouTube about economics. Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, very smart men. Milton Friedman used to call public schools government schools. I never thought about that way growing up because I went to all public schools. I never thought about them as government schools, but it's a very interesting concept. But just so you're aware, we're back, we're rocking and rolling. We've got some robotic stuff that we've got going. We've got some new 3D printers. We're going to be doing, I think for the Patreon, or for my patrons, I think I finally have decided that we're going to go ahead and do, start to finish, I'm going to do a full RC boat. I'm going to surface it using Fusion 360. I also found, on a Fusion 360 kind of topic, Fusion has a few weaknesses that I'm not a big fan of, but I have basically finished that thought on public school education. Another time we will talk about that. Fusion 360 has a couple of hang-ups. Some of the extrude commands have some weird behaviors. The sketch environment isn't quite as refined as like SolidWorks as an example. But the entire package and the value that you get for Fusion, it is just absolutely unprecedented. A 19-year-old kid that works for me looked me in the face the other day and he said, look at what you can do with a $200 laptop and a $200 3D printer. You can change the world. And he couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's a kid with a $200 laptop and a $200 3D printer and a dream can literally change the world today. That is the God's honest truth. And tools like Fusion 360 make that possible. Someone's mentioning large assemblies. Yes, I'm on board. I agree. Large assemblies. I'm not a big fan of large assemblies. Let's see here. And yeah, I agree. Large assemblies in Fusion are not awesome. Is this going to? Here we go. I'm just gonna kill this. All right. I just wanted to get on here, talk to you guys a little bit, let you know kind of what's going on, what we've been up to. Work has been crazy. There's a bakery here in town where I live. I live in California. There's a bakery here in town, and when the pandemic came and they had to lay all their workers off, it was devastating for everybody. From what I understand, they were eligible for some payroll protection program financial aid, which they received, and they kept their workers employed as long as they could. Of course, they couldn't keep everybody going for a year or whatever. And now that they're calling their workers back, unfortunately, most of the workers aren't coming back because they're literally making more money on this, getting assistance from the state than they would be just working a full-time job. This makes me nervous. This is one of those indicators. I have personally been looking to hire a press operator for our business now for about a month and a half. And it's just when these people find out what they're going to earn compared to what they're getting on unemployment with like these bonuses, it's just they're not coming back to work. And I'm worried that there's like some type of imbalance in our economy that if it isn't addressed at some point by someone, it could get out of hand. And so that makes me genuinely nervous. And just for whatever reason, I keep seeing these economics explained videos or these economics videos on inflation and these topics. It's making me nervous. I haven't been around in a while. I wanted to get on here, say hello to everybody, say, let's say, someone says, I put a VFOE in my garage waiting for a Phase Perfect to arrive so I can turn it on. I wanted to just get on here, touch base with you guys. There's been some changes, some things I haven't, that we're gonna do more content on. I'm gonna make more content on. The first mill that really, I guess, saved me. I would say that my Haas Super Mini Mill 2, it rescued me and it rescued my business. Or maybe it was like the life raft that I found in the middle of the ocean. But I bought that machine and it was an amazing machine until the day I sold it. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was, as stupid as this might sound, it had a little bit of sentimental value to me. When I was kind of in a bind and my back was against the wall, I bought that machine. I treated it like gold and it made a lot of good parts, and I finally sold it to a retired military, I believe a retired military officer up in the Northwest. And so I'm really hoping that he gets as much use out of it as I did. That frees up some additional space now in our shop. We're looking at moving into doing some of our own plastic injection molding and possibly updating some of our vacuum forming equipment. So I'm gonna take you guys on a journey with me. And on the back end of Patreon was a lot less for me about making a ton of money and a lot more about a really dedicated, congruent, like a similar focus. I wanted a paywall there so that only people that really wanted to be there would be there. And so there have been a lot of people that have supported me on Patreon, and I just want to say thank you. Far more people supported me than I ever thought would, and so it means a lot to me. And I've given my phone number out, I've given my email address out, and I'm always available. If you guys need me, if you're a patron and you've supported me, I'm gonna support you, period. If you have questions, I'll do my very best to answer them. If I don't have answers, I'll just be honest and tell you, I just don't know. Let's see what here, it looks like there might be some comments coming through. Did I make an update on my VF2 spindle vibration? Did you get it sorted? Yes and no. The VF2 is cutting good parts. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The spindle vibration issue, it really wasn't so much a mechanical vibration, although it was out of spec. It was more of a noise issue. And no, the noise issue hasn't sorted. Sometimes it comes and goes. Sometimes it sounds decent, sometimes it sounds not terribly decent. But the most important part at the moment is that it's making beautiful parts with beautiful surface finishes, so I'm just not worried about it. If something else happens, then I guess I'll address it then. I had seriously, when we sold the Super Mini Mill, I sold it with the Haas Roller Cam Rotary, which is pretty awesome. I tried selling the VF2, but we just couldn't get what we needed for it. These printers are actually, I'm super happy with them. If I could have got what I needed for the VF2, I think we owe I literally just wanted I just want what I owe on it. I'm not trying to make money, but I think we owe like maybe, I don't know, 115 grand or 111 grand. Or I can't really remember, but it's a VF2 SSYT with everything you can get. 1,000 PSI through spindle coolant, 15K spindle, auto doors, coolant, tool center point control, dynamic work offsets, TRT 160. If we can sell it, great, and if we don't, no big deal. It's making parts and I really can't complain. I had been watching one of these AV videos, and if anybody knows the name of this, there's like a work table, and it's like a table, and it's hollow, so you can kind of reach under the table. I've been using the Pearson pallet system for a while, and I happen to really like Jay's stuff. I think he makes really good stuff. It's not cheap, but it's good. One of the things that I've noticed is that on a lot of our mold cavities, we bolt them in from the bottom, and then we set them down on the pallet. I've been thinking more and more about just building my own kind of multi-layered kind of workstation inside the mill that has plates that I can just take on and off, but I can put the plate on and leave it on for as long as I need to, and then thread things in from the bottom. There's a name for this style of work table or workbench. I just can't think of it. I think Av actually sent me a message. I need to look and see if I can find that. But if any of you guys know what that is, I'm interested in one, and I'm definitely gonna be building one of those here pretty soon. Yeah, he did make it. Someone's saying that they thought Av made it. He did make it, but he told me that it's actually based on a wood. There's another YouTuber that has a woodworking channel that actually came up with that idea. So, yeah, so that's what's going on, man. It's been super wild. You know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I think I was one of the earliest people to do a review on the Prusa i3, and it used to be featured on the Prusa website, and just like they didn't know me, I didn't know them. It's amazing. Joseph Prusa has proven he has taken an open source product and absolutely crushed it. Hundreds of thousands of printers sold. This is an open source product. And what he's done is he's found a way to build an amazing, and I mean this, an amazing user experience. It's not cheap. This is literally the iPhone. It's the open source iPhone of printers. And what I mean is, these little Crealities, don't get me wrong, they're $300, they work great, they print great. That's it. I think it's the Paulk Workbench. Let me just take a quick peek here real quick. I think that's it. It's P-A-U-L-K. Let me take a look here. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. Whoever just said that, let me look back here. Jefferson, thank you so much, buddy. That's exactly what I was looking for, was the Paulk Workbench. So, so many people talk about bringing products to the market or designing things, and so many times, it's not that people don't know how to succeed, it's just that they won't execute. How many people do you know that have ever told you, oh man, I had this great idea. You need to pay me before I'll tell you my idea. Nobody gives a 2 cents about your idea. Ideas are worth exactly this much. It's the execution, it's the implementation. That's where all the value's at. You can dream about something all day, but until you actually get up off your butt and get sweating, ideas aren't really worth much. What's interesting is that Joseph took this 3D printing setup, and I've had since the first one to this one, just seeing all the differences in going from the threaded rods. This one has an aluminum extruded base. Let me see if I can grab this for you guys real quick. The original one had aluminum rods. This one has this aluminum extrusion base. It has this magnetic build sheet that's powder coated. The bottom of this plate, I don't know if you guys can see, it has magnets in it. These are all magnets. And so just the nature of the way he's kind of executed his business, implementing things like these multi-material units, having most of the parts are 3D printed, having these sophisticated, he was one of the earliest guys to adopt this true mesh bed leveling. A lot of people think that to succeed, you have to dream up some completely new technology. And that's just not true. There's so many ways to provide value no matter what you're doing. Whether you're sitting in a one-bedroom apartment, in a bedroom in your one-bedroom apartment, or if you're running a huge facility, a, a business or an entrepreneur or somebody that's just looking to hustle and make some money can provide value in so many ways. One of my literally childhood friends, I played duck goose in kindergarten with this guy. He's got a degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Michigan. He's a super smart guy. I'm sure he makes a bunch of money. I've never asked, right? But he's like, I still talk to him all the time, but I know he makes a good income. He has like 10 printers and he still sells all kinds of crap on eBay. He sells all kinds of stuff in all kinds of markets. And I asked him, his name also just ironically happens to be Jason. I'm like, Jay, why do you you don't need the money. He's like, I know. He's like, it's just fun to do. He's like, it's fun. It's like, it's like some days you sell 2-3 products, some days you sell 30 or 40. It keeps them going. And I'm like, well, do you ever worry about competition? Because that's one thing I hear from people all the time is, it's so hard to compete. He's like, dude, there's so many people in the world that are looking for something. He goes, maybe somebody has the same version of something you're selling and they're out of it, or they're out of the color that somebody wants. And so I want you guys to think about something. When you're designing anything, sometimes mistakes are the luckiest end result. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I got bored and I just wanted to see how this little Prusa would print. This is a set of tools for a radio controlled car. Now you can see that these are the start and finish lines on the ender. So you think, oh, that's not very awesome, but check this out. Look at the quality of the layer. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but it's absolutely, it's not going to resolve, but it's just absolutely magnificent, right? So I printed this and I started another one out of red. This just has one hole for each tool. So I printed this thing, right? And I'm like, I'm going to do this one out of red. I thought I had enough PLA. Well, I didn't. I actually ran out, but look, I ran out of PLA, and this is, a happy accident, right? And this, just having the infill holds it might not be as uncluttered, but it definitely is a little bit more efficient, right? So, I don't know, I wanted to make a quick video and let you guys know that I'm back. Specifically, I wanted to make it to say thank you because a huge number of people have stuck with me on Patreon while I haven't posted anything. While I've gone through the ups and downs in my business world, the finances, the business, my health ups and downs, and I just didn't have it in me to post anything for you guys. And I apologize for that. But YouTube is always going to come second to, I guess you'll have to decide what your self-image is. But I can tell you that I see myself as a husband to my wife first, a family member to everybody else second, and then the owner of a business, and a YouTuber kind of ranks a fair way down from there. So it's really important to me that I do my best to keep these other endeavors that I've got going well. At the end of the day, if I make a bad decision or if I spend all my time making video content and I allow my business to suffer, the people that work for me, they have families too, and they would suffer along with the business. So that's why I take the charge of running my business quite seriously, because there are people that rely on me to feed their families, and that's serious to me. So that's it, you guys. It's already been 23 minutes. I wanted to give you an update. I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff to my page. I'll be posting here. So just, if you guys aren't a Patreon, it doesn't mean there's not going to be anything available. We're still going to be putting a bunch of content up here. We're still going to be doing some CNC stuff, some training, some stuff like that here. We are going to make our classes available. We're going to put some content online. There's going to be some higher level, deeper dive content inside of my Patreon page. I want you guys to understand that I think what happens is in a lot of ways we develop. I'm just going to use me being a machinist as an example. When you're a little kid that wants to build something, they start off with Duplo blocks, and let's just say there's 5 Duplo blocks. There's only a few. And then they graduate to Lego, and there's maybe 40 or 50 different Lego pieces. I don't know, there's probably hundreds, but I'm just, as an example, bear with me. But then when they get to Technic, there's hundreds. And many times, you don't actually need hundreds to accomplish what you need. In CNC machining, as an example, there are terribly sophisticated tool pathing strategies. There's understanding stress that can be built up or released in a material, understanding speeds and feeds and machine rigidity, and kind of blending the art and science that is subtractive manufacturing. It can be quite challenging, but the fundamentals are actually quite simple. Understanding when you choose in your toolpath software, when you decide to implement, let's just say, cutter compensation to make sure that you're bringing features into tolerance. Understanding if that toolpath is programming from the center line of the tool or the radius of the tool, it makes a difference, right? Are we programming part geometry? And so learning something and learning it well, and learning those key core concepts and then just repeating them, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, one step at a time. And the biggest of problems, as they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And from a wise man, if you start at the back end first, that's a lot easier to finish when you get to the trunk. So that's it for this live video. I wanted to touch base with you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and saying hello. Please feel free to comment down below if there's topics you want to talk about. If you guys want to see results or links, I have links to these printers. If you guys want them, I could, you don't need my affiliate link to go find a printer. Just Google Amazon Ender 3 version 2. The short answer is I would absolutely recommend one of these. Man, I'm genuinely blown away at how quiet it is, how nice the prints come out. It's been very reliable. Yeah, as much as I love the Prusa stuff for $289, man, you just cannot beat it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.